So I'm curious to know what people think a successful season for the Houston Texans looks like. I'm going to ask you guys, obviously, our listeners can call in as well. Is it number of wins? Is it about, for me, it's like determine the quarterback situation by the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Is Davis Mills your franchise quarterback? To me, that marks a success. And then the second thing would be, look, they won 4 games last year. They won 4 games the year before that. If they win 6 games, that may be a successful season for the Texans as they're working their way back up.
It's so depressing.
So 6 games and then determining the quarterback situation. Those are my 2 parameters. What say you?
I feel like even if they like Davis Mills, they shouldn't necessarily marry themselves to the quarterback situation this season. I think that, from what we heard from them, they said, 18 to 24-month window to
But you
generally
don't think they
evaluate a
need
player.
to figure it out by the end of the season?
I do think that it would be nice for them to figure it out by the end of the year. But even if they think that they figured it out, I think that they should at the very least keep their options open. For me, it's will the young players on this team be significantly better in week 17, week 18 than they will be in week 1. This is all about development this season. And by the way, say that Lovie Smith, Pep Hamilton, and some of the other coaches on this coaching staff aren't able to get the absolute most out of these young players, and we don't see them progressing, and we see them looking lost out there. I think that is a reason to, at the very least, call into question whether or not they would come back next year. I know optics aren't great. You fired David Culley last year. It would be bad optics if you fired Lovie Smith after 1 year, too. But
they can't do that.
I feel like the idea
not with all the
that you can't do something because of the optics, screw it. The optics are bad. They're never getting better unless you win. You may as well just say, if this team does not get progress from the young players, that this coaching staff isn't capable of doing it with young players. I think you have a little bit of a nothing to lose bit about you right now because of how awful you've been of late. But for me, it's 100%. Will the young guys make progress?
I've said before, I think they're on the right track. I've been very critical of the franchise, but they have a head coach who knows what he's doing in Lovie Smith. Pep Hamilton is their offensive coordinator. People seem to really respect Nick Caserio as a general manager and the direction that he's going in. And honestly, the McNairs are making a huge effort to up all things in relation to Houston. Greg Grissom, the president, I actually really believe that the Texans are on the right track. That said, they're still rebuilding. They've won 4 games apiece the last 2 years. So what does a successful Texans season look like to you guys? 2 or 3 bullet points of if the Texans accomplish this, and this by the end of the season, that is success. Paul, you go.
1, development from week 1 through week 18 of the young players. 2, Pep Hamilton finds his footing as an offensive coordinator. And then number 3, we see this team beat a team they're not supposed to.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah. And look, they'll have opportunities this season. You're playing against the Chargers again. That was last year's version of a game that you're not supposed to win. You do play Kansas City later in the year. Imagine that you would be the underdogs against most of the teams you play. But if you can put together a couple of marquee victories, 1 or 2, that I think will go a long way towards a young team building their confidence going forward.